Okay, hello everyone. Dale, the link is in the side chat. We're waiting for Dale to come and join us. We're going to have part 2 of Dale's talks. Oh, yeah. I'm quite tired tonight, Dale, so I might have to do sort of like an hour and then carry on again at a later rate because I am. There's supposed to be a big release by Brian Hull at 8 o'clock that I also want to have a nosy at, but I might nosy at it from here before I go over. As well, and apparently he's going to be doxing all of our addresses and all of our children and everything else, and I need to see if that's true. I doubt it though, because he don't seem to know his ass from his elbow. Hi, Dale.
I tell you what to do if you're feeling tired. Just go do the Brian Hill thing because it's fine, and we'll just do it another day. It's all right. If you need to go and do, because I saw you, I've been watching in the chat on Wendy's. You were speaking earlier with Hoof and all them that I've been watching. If there's something that's something that's coming up, we can always do it another time. It's fine. If Brian knows if he's doing what he's doing, and you need to go and do what you need to do, just do it, and we'll just do it another time. Just arrange it for another day. At some point, it's fine.
Well, that's not until 8 o'clock. So, but I mean, you are right. Wendy has got a live stream going, so we could leave it because the viewers are sort of like split between the two streams, and it's much better when we've got a stream going. But there's people here that have come to listen to you, Dale. So it's up to you if you want to do a little bit for a little while.
It's your choice. I'm not.
No, I don't mind. I'm quite happy to do that. It's just at 8 o'clock, I will sort of like stop, go over and see if he's gone live, because if I doubt he has got any information because he gets everything completely wrong. But just in case he does put out information on my children, I want to make sure I've got the
Exactly.
evidence.
You want to be there.
Done.
Exactly. So then
Yeah.
leave this to another time then, because that's probably more important, and we can all, because it's not like the information is going anywhere, is it? It's not going anywhere, so it's just going to be sat here anyway. So you know what I mean. Whereas that you need to sort out. So we just do another time. It's fine. I'd rather
Sure?
do it. But yeah. Just because if we're gonna do it, I know for a fact we'll end up going over, and I don't want to be like rushed, because you know it is. We don't like rushing, so it's better off doing it when it's more convenient for you. I'd rather do it when we don't have to rush, because if I'm rushing, you know, I'm like when I rush when I start speaking fast. So
Yeah.
it probably makes more sense where I can actually take a bit of time and do it properly, because that's what you've always said. If we're going to do something, we may as well do it properly.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? It does make sense. But I'll just pull up just a little bit. I'm just going to share something just briefly, just for a couple of minutes, but not long. Just give you an idea of what we will kind of be doing, and then we can always do it another time in a bit more in depth.
Yeah.
As long as I can pull it up, I'll be fine.
I feel pretty bad, but I want to.
No, you're fine, because we don't know when Hell's going to do what he's doing. Do you never know, so you kind of have to go with his punches as they
Yeah.
you know what I mean? You just have to take it as it is. So you never know when something's going to come up. So you're better off just doing it, and just having the opportunity to say, right, I'm going to do this. So, which one is the one that I was going to show you?
Okay, let's add it.
This one I was going to talk about just a little bit, and we won't go brief, but I was going to talk about dimensions and the history of the stuff, because that's what we are kind of talking about before, and it kind of talks a little bit about this. So I'm just going to share a tiny little bit of this, but it just basically explains a little bit about scalarways, how the solar system's set up. We'll go more in depth when obviously we get chance. It just talks about the particle waves, and talks about the blueprint of our particular dimension, which is the 15-dimensional consciousness, and our Helmut time matrix. And obviously, it's got the graphics here of how the time matrix works. So we'd have just been touching this and going in depth. We're only just skipping over it.
Wow.
Then it talks a little bit about the different races here and how they're made of carbon, silica based, some are etheric based, some are biology based, some are antimatter based. So we'd have gone in on that. Then we'd talk a bit about the different DNA structures and stuff like that. So that's what we would have been talking about, and the different hominoids and different species that are here. I was going to touch on that. So we can, you know, we've got plenty of time. Look, we've got plenty of time, and then it talks about
This
the
is
history and when.
brilliant, though, Del. This
Yeah,
is
no,
just
we'll do it
stuff
properly.
that I
We'll do
wanna
it, and it
get
talks about when
into.
the different races here and the strands of the DNA and who was here in different species and stuff like that, all the way down to obviously when it comes down to our time, it's got from billions of years ago, and then it's down to our time. So we're going to touch
Yeah.
this anyway and talk a little bit about this, and then obviously you've got the different races here and just go into the different races from different places that were here. So we were going to just touch this and the different time matrix, and the lowest beings are the Draco. These ones here. I'm just going to put my finger on these. These are the beings that are giving us the most problem. These are ones that have got the 10-strand DNA. They've been messing around with us the most.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but we would have touched a little bit about this and obviously explain a bit more and just talk about the different actions and stuff. So that's all we're going to cover. Probably in depth, we'll probably read through it and stuff like that and just cover all the different races and what's going on, the root races. And I was going to cover what's called the cloister races, which is in here as well. So I would have covered that and the indigo children and stuff like that and the 40 strands
Yeah,
DNA.
definitely. This is definitely what
Yes,
I
this
want
would have been you
to
need to do. Yeah, exactly. So we'd have done this. We'd have definitely gone through this and explained that, and then just talked a little bit about this and the active strands. And this is probably the last part because this is what's coming now. So this is what we're supposed to know. This is the bit that I talk about with the age of Aquarius and the ascension wheel. This is what I'm talking about for our DNA and our matrix. What we're supposed to be doing on the human body, and it would have touched the stuff that we've kind of touched on. So I was going to fit that in with this with the ascension stuff. So would have touched that, and then. I was going to go into the galactic history and just touch a little bit about ancient civilization, just talk about a little bit about how that works and what's been going on in the different things. And I was going to just, I think there's part of here that touches the, it talks about what was going on now to 2017 and the visitors, different visitor beings that have come here when Atlantis was here and the mythologies. So it talks a little bit about that. And then not the hypnosis, it's the electricals I want to find. Because it's specific areas, because this is so detailed, but I only
but
I mean,
all brilliant. But I mean, what you've got here, we'll just go through it, and then even if it means doing the electric wars at a later date, it doesn't matter. We can do all this, because all of this is fascinating to me. Del, while you're here, do you know anything about the metaverse?
That's what that's talking about. When I was showing you those, I'll put it back up because I've got to get it up. Because remember that showed you about there's different kinds of species like silica-based, etheric-based, antimatter-based, matter-based. You're talking about carbon-based. What was the other one? There was another one. Crystalline. That's it. Crystalline based, right? So you've got different forms of species in our particular and our Eka, which I was going to show you, which is on one of those good things. It's I might as well pull it back up because it will make sense to have it up while we're speaking about it, just so there's some visualization of it. So let's get the Ekas. Right, here we go. No, I don't want that one. I'll use the other one. Your one was a bit better. Let me find it. There's another one I wanted. It was a bit bigger. It's near here. Come on. Yes, right near here. Bit more. Just there here. Right. So this one. So this is our 15-dimensional time matrix. So this is what's called our Eka. Now our Eka links our Ekas basically. So you've got our cosmos, our part. So you've got our solar system, meaning a sol, and I'll show you the grids on that. I'll pull one up and show you. It's not on this one, but I'll put it up on another one. So you've got Sol in our Milky Way galaxy. Then you've got our Milky Way galaxy, and then you've got all the different galaxies within our 15-dimensional time matrix, which has got more. It's got more galaxies and solar systems and galaxies than tiny grains in the desert, the Gobi Desert. It's ridiculous. It's like millions and millions of life all over our particular part of just our cosmos. So then that Eka links into like the omniverse, and the omniverse is where you got. That's where the metaverse is. I'll show you. It's called the Great Lanarkea. I'll show you pictures of it because I've got it, and that's got the Great Expeller and stuff like that. And that omniverse links back to the great Sophia, the great creator of everything. So that's really where our metaverse is, the great omniverse. And basically I've been able to see what I call and I think I mentioned this to you last time when I got visited by the Sea West spirits, and they showed me the ancient galactic star maps. I remember I showed you, and it was just amazing what I could see. And that's what I was seeing. It was omniversal, like that galactic star maps of because you've got like I think it's like 6 or 7 different cosmoses that are linked to the our omniverse, and then you've got multiple omniverses that link back to the Great Sphere. So we've got not just our omniverses, like multiple omniverses. That's where the Great Metaverse is. And there's multiple omniverses, and then you get back into they're linked into the cosmos, and then they're linked back into the universes where we are now in our dimensional time matrix.
Wow. So even that in itself is like a big talk that I would need to go through with you then.
Yeah,
Because I know
go on.
No, there's been a lot of talk about metaverse around the channels recently, but I wasn't really understanding it, and I was like, right, I know the guy to ask, Dale. he'll break it down for me and explain it properly. Because some people are not very good at articulating what they're talking about, and they sort of wander off, and I think, what the fuck are they talking about? Where are they going now? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So basically, I'm gonna just find so this talks a bit about the Intruder races, and this is more recently, which is relevant because the Draco came in, the Anunnaki, the Weesadats, the Weesex. I think you might have mentioned it in this talk. So we could, and that's again, this is talks about the ritual abductions. You know, when you talk about the stuff that you've been talking about, the demonic stuff, this does touch an aspect of that, and it talks a little bit about it. So
Right, go on then.
there's been taken and stuff like that, the greys and stuff like that. And I think did I show you things about the melanin last time and the greys and how the link to trying to observe our souls? Did I show you that when we was last here?
Yeah, I think so.
I think I might have done. And that this is the greys that they were referring to. So this talks a bit about how we've been interfered with the Draco. It talks a bit about here, and it talks about the beings that came from Orion, the Pope has. And I think I showed you that with I showed you all the galactic stuff with Wayne Herschel. That's what this is on about. So we could touch this. Again, this is since the 1980s, and then you've got the Guardian races who are part of what but they protect the beings here. And again, we'll talk about those different races. So that's obviously an important part because that's relevant to what's going on. But it's the electric ones that I want to find because I've actually got it here and it's in depth because that was the main thing you wanted to touch on. Because again, the Guardian, this is worth a talk. The Guardian lights is within its right now. The cloister races are important because the cloister races are like basically it's the original. It's that original 5 cloister races that were originally here. So at some point, that is a talk with the different Melchizedek. That is within a talk is worth doing within itself because that's what you see. See, when people talk about races, the race today, I know there's 5 different races that you see. Obviously, you've got people call it the coloration. Obviously, you've got people who have got pale skin. You've got people who've got melanated skin. You've got people who've got obviously slightly different tones of skin. Now, the 5 cloister races are those tones based on humanity, not based on adjectives. But I would explain it from that perspective if I was going to do it, rather than based on the adjectives, because it does talk about the cloister races that were here. Now, the 5 cloister races that were put here, that was after we had the seeding, after the electric wars. That's why it's relevant and so important. So I'm just going to find the electric wars because it does talk about that there. This is what I'm thinking because this document's massive. And it's got the great details in it. But we do. I mean, he's talking about the ascension waves that I've been telling you about and stuff like that. But it's the galactic stuff that I wanted, the original 5. Because you've got the 3 worlds, the Guardian Lights, which is what's relevant to us. But it's the electric race that I'm going to have to. Yeah, and these are some of the races that are here with us. So they're the Guardian Alliance races that are here with us. And then you've got, and I think it does show some of the other ones as well. So yeah, and they're the Draco, they're the other races. So we can talk about this more in depth. So we've got all this kind of stuff. So again, we've got plenty we can go on. It's just I want to find the electric war stuff because I do have it here. But at least you've got some graphics and stuff. But I did pull up the electric war stuff because I have got it because it is in this talk. Because it tells you and this is good because it talks you about the different species that come here as well. So it explains what the different species are and where they come from. So again, that might be worth a talk within itself as well. Because it talks about them all. But I'm after the electric wars because I know it's in this document. In fact, I'm just going to go at the top because I know I've got it. Because it tells it here. Because I remember me seeing it because it's specific. Because I know that's something we've got to be touched. We've got to touch, and it's here.
Yeah, no, definitely. All of this we need to go through gradually, bit by bit. Don't worry, Joe. We're going to get
here we
there.
go. So awareness in the electric war. So that's got a fight. And this talks about the Dracons who came here. And this is all to do with what we're dealing with now, and even women and stuff. It's all relevant to what's going on now with this great age of Aquarius, with the divine feminine that's coming in. So it's all relevant to what's going on now. But it's in chapter 5. But I want to really skip to it because it's quite relevant to what we're what's going on now. Let me find it because it's got so much stuff in here. There's just it's so detailed, and like I said, it's all relevant to what we're doing. Just find it. Right, let me just see where I am. So no. Right, I mean, it even talks about that as well. How we the body, the different states of the body, the physical level, the emotional level, the spiritual level, and the these 5 of them, mental. That's the other one as well. It talks about that how it's all relevant to our DNA because we used to have 3 polar strands of DNA, and one of them, due to what the Draco did here, was being clipped off. So we've been the humanities, and this is to do with the mental mud flood and stuff that I talked to you about before. So humanity has been constantly under a state of under a state of attack, and this is what you see now, and you see it all in society with all the madness that's going on. But I'm going to pull it up because
it is quite interesting actually because of my own beliefs in that. I mean, somebody turned up in the thing that I did time out saying that this is all bullshit and it's all disproving God. Actually, it doesn't. It proves there is a God, but the God is different. These are the stories that are in the Bible, some of them, but people just don't realize how the Bible connects to all this stuff as well.
Yeah.
But what I do find interesting is that because of my own beliefs, I do honestly believe that sometimes there are outside forces at work. And today is a classic case of that. To me, it's like there's outside forces trying to prevent us getting this information out there, which is interesting. That's how I really feel. Yeah.
So this is the bit. So this talks about the stellar cultures, because obviously you've got cultures here on Earth, but you've got stellar civilization. I've got cultures all over this universe. So this is the electric wars. That's about 900 years. This is when we've got what's called the third seeding of 3D Earth, height, width, depth, which is your body. Obviously, ether's 4th dimensional, and your plasma, which is just beyond most people's eyesight, but I can see, is where the 5th dimension is. This is what this divine stuff that's coming in with this advent of Aquarius that's coming. Which we have already touched. I know we've gone in depth on multiple times on your channel. So this basically talks about the exploitation of the first Tyrannosaurian people that were here, and basically when we had the electric wars, they were affected the most. And basically, there was making agreements so that once it was finished, this is when the third seed was coming. And I showed you a map of this.
Okay, do you want me to read through that? Should we read through this section?
I was just going to briefly just talk over it because we'll go in depth because obviously it's past now and I know you want to get off. So I'm just want to give a brief overview and we'll go in depth next time because obviously we'll have time to do it properly. Just because I know you want to get off. So basically, you've obviously got pro-human and anti-human factions, which the anti-human factions will be like the ones I've shown you earlier on, like the Draco, the Anunnaki, the Weesadex. They're the anti-factions, and then obviously you've got the beings from Lyra who was helpful to us. You've got the beings from Sirius who was helpful to us. So you've got different species that will help the guys, and that's why the Guardian Light stuff we can't touch because it's
so the Syrians. Let me ask a question. The Syrians that can be traced to the Sirius people could be traced to the Dogon tribe, isn't it?
Correct. That's right. And in Mali in Africa, that's right. And the first omniversity, not university, the first omniversity was in Timbuktu. The Jesuits know this and they've hidden all the information. In what people today call Man Africa, before all this stuff got destroyed and the electrical and stuff like that, they had the most, where Africa is now, it was the most advanced civilization. They were way ahead. They was massively ahead. So, and they had all algebra, maths, and all this stuff. And that's why I keep talking to you about those ancient societies, because they all function very highly, and there's all evidence of all that. But the Jesuits spend most of their time hiding it. So, the Africans weren't running around in the jungle with bones in the nose. That's all bollocks, fam. It's complete bollocks. And all the structures on the earth show you that. And you've got stuff that's in the inner earth as well that there was involved with. So, that's what I'm saying. There's so much more stuff that has gone on here that people just don't know about.
So the Lycan people, who were they in touch with? Is there any sort of like the Dogon tribe have got some history and myths that actually connect them to the Sirius? What about the lichen? You said there's lichens. Where
The
were they?
Lyrans are from Vega. They're from the Vega. The system's called Lyran. It's the plant. Their son is called Vega. So they were like spirit beings, like was like, but they're probably like a fifth dimensional plus civilization, and they came here to help out during I think that the period of the electric wars. They came to help out, and then obviously you've also got the beings from the Pleiades as well, who were a fifth dimensional
Yeah,
faring civilization as well. So they're the beings that came in. They're part of the Guardian Alliance, but not all the beings from the Pleiades are good. There's only, I think, there's two races that were good, and the others were on the side of the Draco. So you've had multiple factions that are in what's called our time matrix, which you just mentioned here, and the interdimensional time matrix and the systems. So they were granted their assistance under the agreement between the Sirians and Palladian cultures. So we've had multiple cultures that have intergalactically that have protected the beings here. So that's what I just wanted to touch. But we'll really go on this because it talks about the timeline about 20 million years. It gives you what this does, the electron. It gives you the timeline and explains a little bit about the different cultures that were here in the holographic universe
yeah.
and what was going on. So we'll touch this in depth next time, and we'll go in depth because it's just long. So, and plus you've got stuff you want to do, and it's like nearly 20 to 8. So it's coming to that point whereby
Yeah,
we'll go in depth next
panic.
time.
Don't panic because he might not go live on time. So, do you want to do? Is there anything there that you want to start talking about today? Because I love talking about this stuff.
Yeah, there's nothing there that you saw that's short. It's all long. It's all quite long. It's all quite long stuff, isn't it? It's all you couldn't start a subject and then not finish it because it's all long. So we'll just save it for our stream, and when we've got the quality time to give people the quality. And what I'll do is I have got some what I'll do, Jupiter, I have got some extra stuff here where I've got some things that talks about the angelic races of our time. There's some information. So what I'd like to do is possibly I'd like to give you that information, and then if people want that, we'll if they want that and they're willing to share their emails, I'll pass these about these 3 documents that I can share that talk about the different time matrices and stuff like that. And I'm quite happy to share those documents with people in the chat so they've got a bit more of an idea. Plus, they might want to go more in depth in their own way. So what we can do next time is I'll pass you those documents. People give you some of their emails. We'll send you those documents, and I'll also post some extra links in the chat as well. So I think we're best off doing it that way. Doing it like that, and it just gives people the extra information so they can study additional information themselves. So that's probably the best way of doing it, and then it's not going to be rushed, and they can give them the quality they deserve. That's all.
Yeah, no, I agree with you because I really want to get into this, and I'm pissed off, to be honest, that this has happened today. But apparently the nutcase is going to be revealing, because you do realise that Shell UK got arrested over the 2 days ago.
No, I'm not aware.
Oh, well, according to Brian Hurl, we haven't had the update from Shell. She's doing a live tonight as well, which is another reason why I wanted to sort of cancel, because I want to go and check she's okay and find out exactly what's happened. But she's meant to be making an announcement tonight. But according to what we're being told, Shell got arrested because Brian Hurl's made the claim that she's harassing him.
Right.
And she did actually get arrested and charged, and it's all to do with her channel. But all Shell actually does is clip what people say and put it out there. She doesn't alter it. She doesn't add to it. She doesn't troll. She just literally takes the sound bites and puts them out there, and as evidence and documentation, really. And apparently he's managed to get the police to come down on his side and arrest her. And I know what that feels like when you're getting arrested on false allegations.
Well, when they turned up to yours, can you remember when they turned up?
Yeah. So I'm quite. She's not charged. She's on bail. That's a good sign, Ricky, because that's exactly what happened with me. They didn't bail me. When I got released pending further investigations, is what they actually said to me. But I didn't have any bail conditions, and I didn't get any charges. And then within days, they got in touch to say no further action. It was just all going to be wiped. And I made a big fuss because obviously when you get arrested, you have your fingerprints taken and everything else. I made a big fuss that I've never been a criminal and that I was offended that they'd done all that to me under false allegations. And so they confirmed in writing that they've wiped the lot. They took the whole lot away. You know, whether I believe them or not is another thing, Dale. But at least,
if you can, you could do a subject access request and see if they have removed. If they haven't, because I've got my friend I know that sued them when he had his DNA taken and he sued them and won. You could do a subject access request and just make sure that they have done it. And that's the only thing I can suggest. But yeah, and there's one other thing, Jupe. I think there's 2 documents I briefly just shared with the chat, and this is what I'd like to get out to them if they're able to give you your their email addresses, obviously privately. So obviously we don't want people.
Well, there's one guy here, Ricky Millwall, that's actually really in touch with Shell. So if you've got any, because I know that you know quite a bit of legal stuff, if you've got any legal sort of like advice, Ricky's here, you can pass it on. So
yeah, that's a good thing. Yeah, because obviously Mr. Nasty's been up to his nasties again, hasn't he? You know, it's like, so yeah, this is what I would like to share. So this talks about a little bit about some of the fallen angelics and the anti-Christianic races, obviously the Anunnaki, the Draco. It talks about Nibiru and what was going on Nibiru, because that's where the Anunnaki are now, and the sphere that's around the planet and stuff. And it talks about Lucifer being in here. So this is again is interesting. It talks a little bit about the stargates, momentum, the gates that are here. This is why what's going on. So this is one thing I will like to share and give to those in the chat, and it explains a bit about the history about Stonehenge and stuff like that. So that's one document, and it talks about the beings from Lyra, which you can see here. So you can see some of the positive beings that came from Lyra there. So it talks a little bit about that. It covers that. So I definitely want to get into this. And it talks a little about the angelic races, there's different stargates, what's been going on down there in our time matrix. So I definitely want to get this out to the people. And again, that talks about what's relevant to us in terms of waking up your soul and that's moving yourself to the next state of being, which is what we've covered anyway here, as you know yourself. So I definitely want to get that out to the people. And there's one more that I'd like them to have as well, and that's this one. And this basically is just obviously our current time matrix. It just talks about this. Now, I know you've touched this, so I'd like to get that to people, and so they can have this. Explains everything in depth again, so they know what they need. So we'll get that out to them if they want it. So just to give people a bit of overview. So there you go. So we'll definitely get that out to them. So yeah, we'll just stop there. So that's the kind of thing I want to share with people so they can do their own due diligence. So we'll do that. So
definitely. It's going to be exciting. I can't wait till we get into it. It's just annoying that this has come up.
No, it happens. It happens. A lot of things happen. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. But I'm genuinely looking forward to being able to do it in a quality way. So there's no point rushing it, like you said. We'll just do it in a quality way for the people. So just see how things go this week. And see what's happens, because you never know, because you might end up having a busy week depending on all the stuff that's going on.
Yeah, leave it this week, and then what I will say is we'll do it for next Sunday. And if there's anything that comes up next Sunday, I'm just going to ignore it, because then I will feel like it's outside forces trying to prevent me. I know I'm a weirdo, and that's just my beliefs.
No, you're not. You're fine. It's fine.
But so. Yeah, what we'll do is we'll delay it till next Sunday, 7 o'clock, and no matter what's going on, we'll just go ahead with it, whatever, because that will be my sort of like personal sort of like good versus evil war. But yeah, they've said that she's not charged, but she's on bail till January the 14th. Well, that's interesting, Ricky, because his cases were meant to be in January, and Morris's. And it's almost like they're trying to silence her while they're waiting for that to come up. That's number one. Number two, I hope she's made a counter allegation, because that will help her. And number three, he said that she has a solicitor, so that's really good. Because I don't know exactly what they've charged her with, but there is rumours that it's on more than one, that they're trying to do her on more than one charge, or more than one thing they've questioned her over. But I'll just wait and see until she makes her announcement, because Shell's a good person. She's not even the type of person that really is bitchy or nasty or spiteful or anything, Dale. She's actually one of the really good ones. So
yeah.
Gonna
It's a
be
shame.
interesting how this pans out, to be honest.
Yeah, it's like I said, this never stops. You're constantly you're constantly or somebody know there's something going on with somebody, or it's yourself, where there's some kind of controversy going on, there's some kind of attack going on where
Mm,
basically somebody's being silenced in some form or another, in regards to the things that are going on, and it pretty much goes on all the time.
yeah, I'm pretty confident. I'm not a solicitor, but I'm pretty confident that it won't go anywhere. But but I don't know the full stuff,
Ins and
so I'll have
outs.
to. Yeah, but
Do you think
but
Shell
yeah,
will come on at some point and
so
talk to
that
you?
guy Brian Hurl, he's meant to be doing a live stream this evening where he's going to be out in all her business, out in
Yeah,
Batfreak, out in Cam, Irish Cam, out in
yeah.
myself, out in Wendy, doxing all our families, Ricky Millwall, Moonpooker. I don't know if you know Moonpooker, but
No, no.
he's got all stuff on Moonpooker. So I need to keep an eye on him because of for my own personal reasons and any legal roads that I need to go down as well as other people. But that's on
Yeah.
Dream Team The Truth. If you don't know where that is, Del, if you want to watch it yourself. At
Oh.
8 o'clock, it's meant to be going live with all this shit. It's probably
Well,
going to
I
be
don't think it's got anything. You
no,
probably
I
won't have a
don't.
lot.
It's probably going to be a load of hot air and waffle, but
Mm.
you don't know with this guy. Sometimes he pulls something out of the hat that calls sets the cat amongst the
It might
pigeons.
not be, yeah, it might not be even about you. It might be with somebody else that he's speaking about where he actually does have something, and obviously it might be pretty concrete, which means it's going to be an issue. Because obviously he does get a certain amount of information. Obviously, a lot of it's waffle, but somebody's feeding him something, and when he gets
Yeah.
that information, he will just use it and abuse it. Pretty much, and you know what he's like.
Hmm.
So he's one of those that does talk a lot, but he also he makes some wild claims, and some people have to deal with consequences of those wild claims. You know what I mean? And that's where the downside is.
Yeah, and that's what the problem is, because there's a load of drama being whipped up at the moment. It's
Absolutely.
it's just nuts, actually. I mean, for me, I suppose I'm lucky that I've got that little bit of a dark sense of humour where I do find some things comical that are actually very serious. But
Yeah.
yeah, if I didn't have that, I think I probably would have gone under a long time ago. But I can't help finding certain things just ridiculous. And I think, oh, here we go again. And then it makes me giggle and it makes Hector giggle. But yeah. So, all right then. Well, I'm going to round this up then, and
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
going to
You need
get ready to
and
go over
jump
and
off.
check. So what we'll
Yeah.
do is we'll set a definite date for next Sunday at 7 o'clock, and despite what goes on, we're just going to stick to it because I want to make an evening of it, so it'll go right through to late in the evening. Is that all right with you?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like I said, you could always if depending on obviously you just never know what's going to happen with this stuff, Jupiter, and you just never know. Like I said, I can be totally flexible because the information I've already got, so it's not essentially going anywhere. So you've
Yeah,
always got for me, you've always got to prioritize. Obviously I know you do prioritize no matter what, but you've always
yeah,
got to prioritize because it might be that something happens. It's that actually I need to get this information, so sometimes you've just got tonight. You've just got to go with that opportunity. That he might just talk over waffle, but you can't take that because he doxes and he's done other things and
exactly,
stuff. So
exactly.
there's always that chance that he might have one thing. He might talk a waffle for an hour, and for 1 minute he might have one significant piece of information, and that's the thing that you'll need. So you can't not observe what's happening just on the off chance that he's got one piece of information that's completely relevant.
Yeah, and that's the situation we're in now,
Yeah.
which is
So, and are
fucking
you and Wendy
annoying.
both going? Are you and Wendy both going?
I will imagine that she'll be over there listening. Yeah, I'm sure she'll be over there listening because he's gonna, according to him, he's gonna give her out her real name and all her details as well. I mean, we'll probably get there and it'll probably be nothing. Oh god,
You
sorry.
never
He's
know.
done
You
this.
never
He's
quite
done
know
this
of him.
before. He's done this before, but
You never
we
quite
can't
know of
take
him, though, do you?
chances with him. Plus, with
No.
Shell giving out her statement, like what she wants to say to people, I want to listen to that as well because It can't have been easy for her being carted off to the police station for nothing, you know.
No, and obviously she never saw it coming. So
Yeah,
it's a shock
exactly.
in the sense that it's not, you're not expecting to come and deal with that. Even when you're then they turned up with you and you explain what happened with you, it was something that
Mm.
wasn't. I mean, you always threatened you they're going to come, but considering the fact you'd been doxxed, you'd had all the people burn off to your family, and then for them to turn up, you're like, hang on a minute, I've been getting all the problems. Explain to me what you're
Exactly.
saying. You know what I mean? Why don't you go
Yeah.
and deal with them? Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So you have to do with all that. You know what I mean? And that's why he kicked off such a stink because you were right. Because it's like, hang on a minute, I've been getting all the problems, not them. So you
Okay,
know what I
so
mean?
I'm going to end it now because Shell UK has just gone live. So I want to go over
All
there
right
now.
then. All right, go over
That's
there now. I'll
Shell,
see you in a bit.
that's Shell UK live if you want to go over. Okay.
All right, no problem. I'll be there. I'll be there. All right, see you
All right
soon.
then.